Oh my God, have you heard how many planets are in retrograde this summer? All of them. All the planets are in retrograde. Okay, I'm here to dispel a couple myths about retrograde planets. It doesn't mean that the world is ending and that your life is getting flipped upside down. That is not what this means. And I will say that while it is significant that a lot of planets are retrograde this summer, it's not so much significant that there are 6 or 7 planets retrograding at a time. The significance falls in which planets are retrograde. The retrogrades that matter the most to us on a personal level are Venus and Mars, because their retrogrades are the rarest. Each one retrogrades about, well, Venus retrogrades about every 18 months, so that's not all that common. And Mars retrogrades about every couple of years, so that's not all that common. And these planets rule our desires and what we want to go after, our values, love, relationships, money, our desires, our primal reactions and feelings, and what we want to go after. So these are all pretty big things. The next planet that I would say matters most would be Mercury retrograde. But Mercury retrogrades 3 to 4 times a year, so you can think about that seasonally. And even though, like, aside from the technological malfunctions and the misunderstandings that are really annoying and the delays in travel, like, yes, Mercury retrograde can be so annoying, but what it's imploring us to do is to pause and to go within. That's what all of the retrograde planets are asking us to do, is to pause and to reflect, because this is an integral part of growth, is being able to reflect and go back. At the end of the year, before you pass an exam, before you take an exam, you have to go back and study all the material, marinate in it, go back over it, make sure you have a solid understanding. And that's what we do in life, because Earth is basically a school. So I would argue that Mercury retrograde is an integral function of the mind. We have to be able to be reflective, and I would argue also that when you're getting the most tripped up in conversation and with technology, it's the universe and maybe your higher self asking you to pause and slow the fuck down. Next, we move into the outer planets. We got Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and then you got Chiron and the other little guys that also go retrograde. I would say next in the list would be Jupiter and Saturn, because they are considered collective planets. They're considered social planets, so that they can be kind of a bridge between the social and the collective. Also, these planets we can see with our eyes. So to the ancients, to see these planets move backwards, it really meant something. When you were an ancient human and you see these planets move forward and then they stop and then they move back, I mean, that's a really big deal. So these planets are visible. These planets are retrograde for much of the year. So it's a lot of it's going on in the background. These planets spend a lot of their time, a lot of their regular motion retrograde. It's part of it. It's really part of it. So what we really want to pay attention to with these outer planets being retrograde is the days around the station. So you want to look a few days leading up to the station direct or retrograde and a few days after, and then you're really going to feel the sense of that planet. So with Jupiter, it might be optimism. With Saturn, it might be pessimism. With Uranus, it might be nervousness. With Neptune, it might be spaciness. And with Pluto, it might just be gut-wrenching emotion. So yes, it's a big deal that a lot of planets are going retrograde this summer. It's more of an opportunity, though, for us to really slow down. This summer, we want to slow our pace and really take stock of everything that's going on around us and in our lives. And it's really just the universe's way of getting us to slow down. And I'm excited to see so many people freaking out about this, because that means, you know, people are getting interested in astrology. People are looking for a deeper connection between themselves and the cosmos and the subtle vibrations in existence around us. And I think that that's amazing. But I also just want to share that it's it's less about it's less about the number of planets that are retrograde this summer. It's really more this Mars retrograde. It's very personal, being so deeply inwoven with the eclipse season. So eclipse season is also happening this summer. And yes, Mercury will be retrograding right on top of Mars. We have a Venus retrograde later in the year. So yes, this year can be very pivotal for people to get recalibrated in better alignment with their heart's desire and their higher path. But it's less about how many planets are retrograde, and it's really more about the Mars and the eclipse season being so intimately woven together. So come Labor Day, things are going to look a lot different. And then after that, we get another wave of Venus retrograde in the fall. So that's really, really huge too. But, so yeah, I'm happy to see more people noticing that planets are retrograde, but no need to really freak out about it. The best thing you can do to really navigate the energies this summer, the astrological energies, is know where Mars is retrograding in your chart and where the eclipses are happening. And if you really want to look ahead, look and see if these outer planets are stationing at a degree that is a shared degree in your natal chart. And then if you really want to go a step further, see where that Venus retrograde is happening. And then you'll have a better idea of how to work with this energy without feeling like everything is chaotic around you. And it will be a little chaotic, but it'll come together.